Cupertino kids swing into City Hall. What you have to say about the street sweeping program. We're high and dry in yet another drought. And some energy-saving programs that can save you money. All this and more on this edition of City Beat. City Beat, a half-hour magazine show focusing on news and events from the city of Cupertino.
As a teenager, you're faced with a lot of decisions, like having sex. Well, if you're thinking about it, and think about this. Today, sex can kill you. You see, there's this disease, it's called AIDS, which any partner you might choose could have, and you can't tell. My advice? Don't have sex. You got plenty of time. But if you do decide to have sex, then use a condom. Very simply, play it safe or don't play at all.
This meeting is now in session. Council members, Mayor Pro Tempore, and staff, please rise for the flag salute.
Students from 8 local elementary schools and 1 junior high school pass through the doors of City Hall and into the swing of things. SWING, an acronym for Student Week in Neighborhood Government, is a program designed to introduce and educate students about Cupertino's municipality. The creator of SWING, Community Relations Officer Donna Cray, welcomes students from Kennedy Junior High School.
Since Monday, we've had about 300 elementary school kids come through City Hall, and they've sat in this room and had presentations, and they've toured the facility. And it's all in an effort to get people involved and to understand what's going on in their local government. I know you guys have been working real hard on this project for the last week, and I'm sure you're just going to do a great job. So don't be nervous, and like Mr. Paluzzi said, there's really no right or wrong answer that you can give up there.
Building department. We have building inspectors that go out and they...
Throughout the week, students toured City Hall, met some of the city's key players, and asked some pretty tough questions.
How about the ghost walk? Has anybody ever been to the ghost walk? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Swing strongly encourages students to take part in their community.
This community loves to have people involved in the process, and that means that you shouldn't consider this your last stop at City Hall. If you have something on your mind and you want to talk to somebody about it, you can come to City Hall and you can make an appointment to meet somebody and talk to raise a problem and get some answers. You can come to a council meeting like this and you can come and talk if you want to. Or you can talk to your parents and decide that there's an issue that's important to you, and they may want to come down and talk to the city council. And believe me, when you talk to the city council, they listen and things get done.
Are you going to be passing out flyers to the citizens to let them know? I think from all this money that you're charging on Blackberry Farm, are you going to use that money to, say, pass out booklets to everyone so they can know how to save water? Yes. Are you going to be doing things like that?
If we do charge Blackberry Farm that money, it's going to go to get us more water.
Information packets on the SWING program are available at City Hall, or call 252-4505 and ask for the Community Relations Office.
When we return, new traffic sensors are given a tryout. And save money and energy with a little help from PG&E.
For 200 years, growing old in America has meant that millions of people have received love, security, and personal respect from nonprofit homes and services for the aging. Today, nonprofit organizations sponsor nursing homes, housing, retirement communities, and community services. To learn more about nonprofit care and service to the elderly, contact the American Association of Homes for the Aging. We're AHA. We're communities that care.
Our round loop, the geometric design in itself, creates a perfect magnetic field. A magnetic field is a perfect circle. So consequently, any type of vehicle that goes through this perfect circle, okay, is picked up. Whereas in the square or rectangular or the diamond shape, the vehicle has to go through at certain angles to be accurate and to be picked up. That's why the circular loop is a more sensitive, more predictable traffic sensor.
Cupertino's traffic department is testing a new method for installing traffic sensing devices. As the first city in Northern California, Cupertino is anxious to see if round loops are the traffic sensing wave of the future. What all this means to drivers are fewer pavement cracks and, fasten that seatbelt, fewer delays due to lane closures.
The loop is the cut method. It will be quicker, the lane closure time. We think sensitivity-wise, I mean, it's still going to operate the same, and I think it's going to be a product of the future.
Other benefits attributed to the round loop technique include fewer street repairs and a waterproof sealant that actually shifts with the pavement.
The round loop is installed by utilizing a 6-foot bit. It is the largest bit in the world. We utilize around 74 diamond segments to help us cut. This is a saw cut procedure. It is not a procedure that is put in plastic PVC and routed. We actually go to the job site and saw cut the 6-foot circular loop.
Of course, there are a few engineers who are skeptical of the round loop, opting still for the traditional traffic sensing method. However, Robert Stranad and the City of Cupertino are banking on the round loop's success.
We've got Redwood City, we got Santa Clara, we have San Jose. We've got a good representation out here, and I think they're all really receptive to this new type of loop.
Free, that's a word you don't hear often these days. However, through a concerted effort between PG&E and your local weatherization contractor, there are a number of programs designed to get your energy costs down, way down, and yes, they're absolutely free. PG&E's free programs fall under 3 basic categories: low-income and elderly services, disabled and handicapped services, and services that are available to all customers. Let's begin with an innovative weatherization program for low-income and elderly customers called HELP. PG&E residential representative Judith Burrell explains what Project HELP is all about.
HELP provides free insulation and other energy-saving home improvements for low-income customers. These measures include attic insulation, water heater blanket, low-flow shower head, weather stripping, and caulking for homes, apartments that need it, and mobile homes. The income guidelines for a person over 60, one person in the household earning $11,540 a year, gross income, without including savings, would be eligible for the program. The renters have to get permission from their landlord, which we provide the forms for, and they can apply through us, through their local PG&E office.
PG&E coordinates HELP with local contractors specializing in home weatherization. San Joaquin Weatherization Vice President Pat Alvarado.
We get various referrals from PG&E, from newspaper announcements, from various community organizations throughout San Jose. As a contractor, we're contributing to helping senior citizens and limited income people with their PG&E by lowering their PG&E bill and saving their money.
Basically, we weather strip the doors if they need it. We'll put caulking around their windows and doors. We'll put a low-flow shower head on their shower to restrict the hot water so they don't use as much hot water. We'll wrap their water heater to save money on costs on that. We'll put switch gaskets on the exterior walls inside the house to prevent air infiltration through the plug-ins. And we'll put insulation in the attic, which is the biggest part of it. We will replace doors, glass that is broken. We place the glazing on the glass and patch holes on the exterior walls that are also contributing to infiltration in the house.
In addition to help, PG&E also offers an assortment of programs to their disabled and handicapped customers.
For some certain special customers, we have the Braille program, wherein someone from our gas services will come out and mark appliances such as the thermostat, stove, and other appliances around the home for free. That's a free service. And we also have third-party notification, wherein a customer can, for whatever reason, have us notify a third person who would not be responsible for the bill, but would be notified by us should there be any problems with the bill. The Medical Baseline program is another program that helps those who need extra amounts of electricity or gas for their health at the lowest price that we're able to charge our residential customers. And a certain additional amount of this commodity is charged at the lowest price on their bill.
Of course, many of the programs already mentioned are available to all of PG&E's customers. Here are a few more.
For all customers, whether low income or not, we offer the automatic payment service, which is a program where money can be withdrawn directly from their bank account to pay their PG&E bill. And they're also sent a notice to their home as to the amount of energy used and the amount of money withdrawn. The balance payment plan is a plan wherein we break an average year's bill into 12 even monthly payments, and therefore the customer is able to budget for an exact amount every month that they'll be sending to PG&E. This is a really good plan because sometimes there are very high bills in the winter and very low bills in the summer. And so we feel that it's very helpful to our customers to be able to budget the amount of money every month. We have a wonderful kit called Plan Your PG&E Bill, and then we have a do-it-yourself energy survey that they can do at home and send us the results. And then we'll figure out, calculate what they could still do at home and save energy. And we also offer home energy audits if the person feels that they cannot do this themselves.
Take advantage of some of the free programs PG&E has available. You'll find that saving money is just as easy as saving energy.
It does benefit all of our customers. By saving energy now, we'll have energy in the future. Enough electricity and the gas that's saved through energy conservation will mean that our supplies and our plants will last just that much longer and provide power way well into the 21st century.
Reporting for City Beat, I'm Kellen Yamada.
Coming up next on City Beat, evaluating the street sweeping program, looking forward to the community center, and Cupertino's water shortage. Stay tuned.
There's something special happening in your town if you just take time to find it. It's called volunteering, and it's happening everywhere there's a neighbor with a need. Getting involved is easy. Simply look under social services in your local yellow pages and find something that's right for you. Whatever your interest, all it takes is one phone call. And what do you get in return for volunteering? Do you really have to ask? A message from the Disabled American Veterans, where volunteering is a way of life.
Item number 33, a report on the street sweeping parking restriction survey.
This is the March 6, 1989 City Council meeting with Bert Viskovich addressing the City Council on the results of the Street Sweeping Parking Restriction Program survey mailed out on January 3, 1989. The city was interested in assessing the street sweeping parking restriction program that was instituted over 1 year ago. Since that time, the program has been modified by reducing the time of parking restriction from 5 hours to 1.5 hours twice a month. The staff feels it has been successful in meeting the goals that were established, but it's unknown whether the community agrees with this. Out of the 3,700 questionnaires that were sent, 1,363 were completed and returned, which is a 37% response. Of those that did respond, question number 1 asked, do you like the current program? 1,069 said yes at 78%, 248 or 18% said no, and 46 or 2% had no response. Of the 248 residences that did not like the program, 177 felt the fine was too high for parking in the street during sweeping hours. 163 saw no need for it since the streets were clean before the program began. 161 felt that there were too many signs in the neighborhood. 156 felt they didn't have enough parking spaces in their own driveways to park all their vehicles. And 67 residences didn't feel it was fair that adjacent streets were not affected by this program. Question 2 on the survey asked, has it improved your appearance of the street? Of those responding, 73% said yes, 15% said no, and 12% had no response. And on question 3, are you interested in continuing the program? 82% said yes, 13% said no, and 5% had no response.
I think we can conclude that based on the survey that the residents that actually have the parking restriction are somewhat happy with the program, would like to continue it, and found it to be beneficial from the appearance that it has provided, or the better appearance because of the sweeping. So the staff's recommendation based on this response that we continue the program.
Reporting for City Beat, this is Robert Kim.
Almost 5 years ago, this orchard at the corner of Alves Drive and Stelling Road was chosen as the most desirable location for Cupertino's community center. Originally, 2 sites were chosen in addition to the Alves-Stelling location, the former Jollyman School building and the Civic Center acreage adjacent to the library. However, both were rejected for a number of logical reasons. The proposed community center is designed to provide a rather unique blend of services within a single structure, specifically recreational programs, social service offices, and a historical museum.
I think everybody's really pleased to have the new community center. The building is about 28,000 square feet, and there's 142 parking places.
Although the community center will be open for public use 6 days and 4 nights a week, private use of the facility will also be available Fridays through Sundays. This will also provide the center with an important source of revenues from the user fees.
On the far end of the site, it'll be integrated with the park, so it'll all be one big park. And this building will be sort of at the end of the L. Memorial in this park will be one big L. I think probably the multipurpose room will get a lot of use. It has a nice kitchen attached to it, and it has a stage. It'll be suitable for many, many uses for the public.
As a final note, the community center has been named after Robert W. Quinlan, Cupertino's former city manager, who was a major force on the project.
It's been 3 years. 3 years of dry weather, 3 years of drought. What little rain Santa Clara County has had this spring is not nearly enough. Local reservoirs are extremely dry, about 9% capacity. And while creek runoff has increased somewhat, thanks in part to late season rainfall, it is not expected to alleviate significantly the current drought emergency now facing Santa Clara County.
We didn't get the 15% reduction that we had hoped to get voluntarily last year. Critical item was the fact that we had requested imported water from the Bureau of Reclamation to be delivered to the county through the San Felipe project facilities. And on February 10th, the Bureau announced that request was going to be cut in half. So that substantially impacted the available water resources in the county.
As late as mid-March, Valley Water District managers were facing the unpopular prospect of a 45% mandatory water reduction program. Just when things were looking grim, however, the State Department of Water Resources stepped in with an additional 83,000 acre-feet of water from Yuba County that would be used exclusively for Santa Clara County needs. This welcomed allotment from Yuba nearly cut in half the county's water deficit, allowing the district to ease its cutback requirements, but not the significance of its message.
We're talking about the possibility of getting down to a level of about 25% overall water use reduction. Actually, we're calling it water use reduction as opposed to conservation because we really believe that a lot of conservation measures are in place right now. And so this is really more than just a water conservation issue, it's a water use reduction issue.
The 25% reduction plan recommended by the Valley Water District was adopted locally by the Cupertino City Council during their March 20th public hearing. Several water use prohibitions were enacted, which include severe restrictions on outdoor landscaping irrigation, operation of ornamental fountains, and the use of water for cleaning sidewalks, driveways, and the washing of cars.
The restrictions, the prohibitions, will be enforced by the city citywide, and therefore if anyone is seen watering down their driveway or washing a car without a shut-off valve or watering plants during the day, using water for construction, they could be cited.
The 25% mandatory reduction program affects all Cupertino residents, businesses, and industries, despite their water company or their specific water needs. Some businesses will be affected more than others, but even the hardest hit seem to understand the severity of the drought crisis.
Well, since that last drought we had in the 70s, this golf course and most other golf courses became aware of the problem, so we did a lot of things like to reduce the size of our nozzles and our sprinklers, and just were more careful with water, and we found we could use less water. Before, water, nobody ever thought about it, so you just watered indiscriminately, more or less.
At Hewlett-Packard Cupertino, voluntary conservation measures have been in effect for more than a year. The company found that through changes in landscape irrigation methods, it was able to cut back water use by more than 30%.
Typically, when water's everywhere and you can use it all, you'll just get very high-pressure sprinklers spraying water all over. Sometimes sidewalks get watered and they never grow. And what we've done is taken a closer look at that. We've monitored the water usage, and we've brought watering anywhere down from 3 days a week to once every 2 weeks. And again, it really becomes an as-needed basis rather than a why-not-water-it basis.
The City of Cupertino has also taken steps to cut down on its water use. Many of the city's water reduction efforts have been in effect for more than a year.
The city, as an agency, has already started. In fact, when we were asked by the district office to cut back 15% several months ago, the city did install moisture sensing devices in all the median strips and throughout the parks and things like that, so that we could find out when the water level was reached that we needed.
In addition, some city projects like the construction of the community center at Memorial Park may be affected because of the drought.
The construction project will continue on. It's a matter of if we can't landscape, we may just hold off the turf portion and maybe go ahead and install the different shrubs and so forth, but leave the turf until another year.
While local businesses and agencies seem to be doing their part to reduce water consumption, what about local residents? An average family of 5 is estimated to use about an acre-foot of water per year. An acre-foot is enough water to cover an entire football field to a depth of about 12 inches, equivalent to 325,000 gallons. The 25% reduction program currently in effect requires Cupertino residents to cut back their water use based on their 1987 consumption rates. To some, those who have been conserving all along, an additional cutback based on 87 levels hardly seems fair.
It states here that the minimum water usage, in the allocation section will not be less than 6 units per month. Does that mean that you're going to cut me down 25%? Where someone who maybe just fell off the prune truck 4 years ago in a new house with magic watering systems that run 4 or 5 hours a day, and we have a lot of them in our city, and we know that, will get that kind of a usage on the 17 or 18 where I've been conserving water for our valley for 15 years?
If there is a trend or continue to be a trend in water conservation, or in cases that something happened in '87 that was peculiar to that customer's water needs for that year, we may be able to detect it by going back a few years prior to that and see if there is a rise or a dip in the consumption for that period of time, and say, well, '87 may not be a year to really use as a standard because of some circumstances that have occurred, and it may not be typical, and therefore adjustments should be made.
For most of us, however, the 25% reduction level will have to be met. Failure to comply will result in surcharges, the installation of flow restrictor devices, and ultimately a discontinuation of service.
Based on your allocation of 87, if you exceed that allocation by anywhere from 0 to 50%, you will be charged a higher rate for that consumption. If you use consumption from the 50 to 100%, the rate is almost 10 times what you would have otherwise paid. Or I should say the City Council has taken a position of not to raise the basic rate, but to penalize those that use the higher consumption.
These specific surcharges will be assessed to customers of Cupertino water only. Similar penalties, however, have been adopted by Cupertino's other two water companies, Cal Water and San Jose Water. Although a 25% reduction effort is difficult for just about everyone, a lot of water can be saved simply through the routine monitoring of one's individual water use.
Most of the water used during the summertime, would be towards irrigation or maintenance of the landscaping. And so people would have to maybe not cut their lawn quite as often because a longer lawn doesn't dry out as fast. Cut back on the water to the shrub areas. And most importantly, just keep track of small leaks around the house, like running toilet. Run a half a gallon a minute could add up to several hundred cubic feet in a couple months.
For those who have questions about their water allocation, or for those who feel their rates may be unfair, the City of Cupertino has established an appeals process to review individual cases. The city is also making available an information booklet and water conservation kit for all those who may be interested. For more information, call the city at 252-4505 during regular business hours. For City Beat, this is Pete Coglanese. If you have any questions regarding any of the information in tonight's edition of City Beat, or if you have any comments or suggestions for future City Beat topics, we want to know. Address all correspondence to City Beat, care of the City of Cupertino, 10300 Torrey Avenue, Cupertino, California, 95014. Thanks for watching. Now let's go out to picturesque McClellan Ranch Park.
Thank you.